How's everybody doing? Ah. I know I'm celebrating. I have a situation with the tongue, but you all know, it's just a bitch. But like I said, it's another situation to manage. Today, we are going to talk about revolutions, periods, and cycles. Please forgive me if you don't hear me. Wait. You know me and the music. You still got to keep it consistent. But understand that, oh my goodness, as you all know, I'm going through my second Saturn return. And so I'm transitioning. What better time to discuss in more specific detail these cycles? The planets have cycles. Cycles repeat themselves. And they repeat themselves over and over again, but in higher levels of consciousness. When one cycle repeats itself, it's one cycle of consciousness that is expressed through experience. The same cycle will repeat itself, but on another level or layer of that same experience, but on a higher level of evolution. This is true of all the planets and also of nature itself, because nature is defined by many, many cycles. There are many cycles in nature. But first, a couple of announcements. Listen, there's some of you who've paid for a birth chart who have not yet called me and communicated with me. So I'm waiting for you to call me and communicate, because you've already paid and the money's being held until I hear from you. Okay? 347-485-6258, just in case you forgot my number. Okay? So I'll be doing readings for those who paid, and there are those who are on the list who paid a while ago. So I'm trying to get in contact with you. I'm finally situated because I've been having issues. As you all know, I'm transitioning. And I'm moving location, going a whole different life changeover, which started a year ago. And it happened when I went to Florida, which was a fantastic experience for me, still is. And then we have the situation, going on in my personal private life. Now, why do I share this with you? Why is this any of your business? Well, if I'm helping you and advising you, Uncle Fernando, listen, Uncle Fernando may be God. We all are gods in human form. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to be exempt of problems and issues like any one of you. Because the question becomes, how do you handle life's throws, life's changes, life's obstacles? How do you deal with life's crisis? And how do you handle the crisis? Do you have a support system? Do you feel you're strong enough to marshal through it alone? Can this be seen as an opportunity to reinvent yourself and go up another layer of your own evolution to be a better person, a more empowered person, and more importantly, a more knowledgeable person that brings you a step higher in evolution of your own consciousness. I have a drop in my mouth to help heal the blisters that happen in the mouth due to the alcohol. So understand that people have a notion that happiness is the end result of life. And we are taught this in school, we are taught this in organized religion, and we are experiencing through codified laws set forth by government. And that's how the church, the clergy and government are married together. And they set the paradigm as to how to interpret life's experiences. The one thing that they don't tell you though is that life is ever changing and that nothing is constant in nature, including happiness. Bergamot tea. Without the one pipe. It's just too damn hot to be drinking alcohol. Or even a mimosa. So, we're entering winter. The seasons are changing. That's another cycle. So we have to now be careful of our nutrition, our exercise, health, balancing. Remember, we entered the cardinal sign of Libra. You know, the autumn solstice, the vernal equinox and the autumn equinox. And the autumn equinox and the vernal equinox and the winter solstice and the summer solstice. These are cycles, and they have 4 cardinal points. Major cycles occur in your personal life, in your professional life, and also the health of the body follows these cyclical cycles. There's a time to overindulge, and there's a time to pull back. There's a time to splurge, and there's a time to moderate. Just like it says in the Bible, there's a time to kill and a time to heal. A time to speak, a time to be silent. A time to laugh, a time to cry. A time to see, and a time to reap what you sow. This is in Proverbs in the Bible. What are they telling you? They're actually discussing cycles. If we break it down, they're talking about cycles. Well, it's no different in astrology. Astrology also is governed by cycles. Nature, illness, happiness, well, giving birth. There's a cycle to that too. There's a prenatal epoch, then there's a gestational process, and then there's birth. And then the cycles that govern the growth of that child to a man, and then old age, and then death. So every flowers ebb and flow cyclically. Everything is governed by cycles. Okay. So, every planet, you gotta keep it classy now, my pretty brim hat. Understand that just like everything has cycles in nature, we also have internal clocks There's a clock in the heavens. There's a clock down here, we call it a dial, here on the earth. But we also have our own internal clocks and cycles. And we have to be able to identify them, be familiar with them, you know? I think I'm gonna braid my hair while I'm here in Texas. Right? So understand that you have cycles that can benefit you and bring you happiness and bliss, and then you have cycles that can bring you grief and put you through tests. Bienvenido Granda, the big beard guy. Oh yeah, a nice ballad to suit us for this new series. In the birth chart, wherever the moon falls in the birth chart is where you're going to go through psychological ups and downs. Wherever the sun falls in the horoscope is where you're going to exercise your destiny. And when I say wherever it falls in the horoscope, I'm talking about the astrological houses. So in order for me to discuss cycles, I have to discuss the astrological houses. And that is going to be the series today, or for the next couple of days, is discussing the cycles of the planets in the astrological houses. Because the astrological houses defines the field of experience throughout your life. Right? I told you I'm a romantic at heart. Now he's a delicious ballad, as delicious as this Bergman tea. Nostalgic and full of emotion and feeling. Understand that since we are talking about emotions and feelings, let's talk about the moon and the cycles of the moon. The height is cute, but it's just too damn hot. So understand, I gotta wear a sweater because it's too damn cold inside. I'm like, bitch, it's hot outside. You're burning your ass off. But then you fucking freezing our ass out here. You know, you're like, you don't win. That's why I'm course between the heat and the cold. The convection can really give you a sore throat, and it can, you know, that's why I don't like ACs. That can really get you sick. And I like to stay, and I stay in hotels since I was fucking 3 years old. So, you know, you don't know if they change the filters and the air vents. You know, Corona, hello, I'm very careful. I don't want no air conditioner. I don't want no fan in my hotel room or in my villa. I pay extra. No, let me breathe the air of nature and I'll take care of the rest. Because it's just too damn hot outside and too goddamn cold inside. You know, they have no Libra in their balance. Oh, whatever. The moon. Understand the cycles of the moon. Do you understand the cycles of the moon? Oh, it's beautiful, demonic, and very complex. Hello. So understand. Thank you. I tell you, I know how to reinvent myself. I show you my lowest, and I show you how I transcend myself from my lowest to the highest. And I don't boo-hoo-hoo. Don't be that person. Give yourself time to grieve. But then don't stay there too long. Get the fuck out. Get up. And keep going. Learn from your experiences. Forgive yourself and forgive those. Trust me, these are tests. It defines character. It builds character. Conflict, obstacles, oppositions, they build character and inner strength. Remember that there's a basis line to every experience. Really? 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 I'm a pilgrim? Really? They're mad at me because I'm not drinking alcohol. I don't do libation. They don't like tea. My pilgrim. Just for that, you're not going to get the gym and my mask too. These archons, they're like babies. And they do this all the time when I don't give them alcohol, when I don't drink alcohol, because they can feed. So understand that cycles spew us on. Cycles help us define who we are. We don't get to find out or discover who we are and the first wheel around. It takes many revolutions around the wheel of the zodiac and many incarnations to finally reach a level of proficiency and evolution, not just of the spirit, but of the soul. But to keep it on more basic terms, let's discuss the cycle of the moon. The moon, I want you to write this down, guys. Get a piece of paper or a notebook, and I want you to write 1, 2, 3, 7. Skip line. This is important. But then again, you can always watch this video, over and over. But do a little booklet or do a little a little something you can put in your pocket or in your wallet with the cycles of the moon and the cycles of the other planets. When I give you this key, you'll be able to understand transits. You'll be able to understand the mundane astrology that you read in books and in magazines. That all will come into play. You're not going to understand it if I, as an astrologer, don't give you this key. And this key, as a layperson, you out there, can use to your advantage. Okay? The moon has a 2.5 second, 2.5 minute, 2.5 hours, 2.5 days, 2.5 weeks, 2.5 month, and 2.5 year cycle. So every 2.5 hours, the moon goes around the earth. Every 2.5 weeks, it does a cycle that defines a particular experience. And the month and the years. And depending on where it falls in the horoscope in your chart, the major cycles of your life will occur in 2.5 year intervals, or 2.5 month intervals, or 2.5 week intervals. This is the cycle of the moon. We also see this observation in nature. The full moon pulls the oceans, but it does more than that. It does more than that. The sun gives us light. The trees and the plants use it as photosynthesis to transform it into energy. But at night, we have something that's called dark reaction, where the light of the moon transforms that energy of the sun and brings it down to the root of the earth. And from there, it is birth potatoes, rice, yams, root vegetables. They grow because of the cycle of the moon, not the sun. Ain't that beautiful? The growth of trees, of plants, the budding of flowers, all that is governed by the cycles of the moon, not the sun. El gran combo. The moon, the cycles of the moon is very masterful and majestic. It's one of the most feminine aspects of nature that also governs in the human body the hormones, the endocrine system of the body, the hormones of the bodies are all governed by the cycles of the moon, regulated by the pituitary gland and the thymus gland, which is up here. The word hormones in Greek, it means urges. That is their impulses. Also coming from the lymph nodes. All that is governed by the thymus gland, the pituitary gland, the hypothalamus. But these are currents, meridians, that are governed by the cyclical rotations of the moon. Yes. When there's a full moon, you cannot have surgery because the blood loss or the blood volume in surgery can cause your death. In hospitals, they don't do surgeries on full moons because it flushes the body. Just like it pulls the oceans, it pulls our own inner oceans, the blood and the fluid. Don't forget that we are 70% water. The earth is also 70% water, just like we are. We have the same morphology as our planet. So if it pulls the oceans, then what do you think it does to us? That's where the word lunatic comes from. If we go crazy, because the hormones are out of whack because of the full moon. There are times where the moon is so full and it's so close to the earth that I get palpitations. And I have to go inside. I can feel her vibration. And let me tell you, there are entities and archons living in the moon. And they don't look like us. And they're stragglers. They're unevolved. And they're very demonic. This is why in Ouija boards, you have the moon on one side and the sun on the other side. In demonology, the moon is very important. And when they do sacrifices with Satanism, they use dogs to resemble the goddess sacrifice of Diana, which is another mythological connection to the moon. So the moon has cycles also of moral and spiritual significance. When there's a full moon, the demonic essence of our planet and solar system becomes greater. And then it breaks at the new moon. Kind of like the witching hour. The witching hour begins at 12:15 in the morning and it reaches a peak at 3:15, which is the most demonic of the witching hour. What do you think is governing that cycle? The moon. The real magic is in the power of the sun. Leo. Okay? So understand that these cycles that we experience in nature also exist within us. And it governs health, mood, attitude, and music. That's just me. Everybody, this is the cycle of the moon. So yes, so understand that if you were to plant a tree in agriculture, we cannot plant or harvest or farm if you don't understand the cycles of the moon. Okay? Understand that the moon is that part that governs gestational development. And it begins at the prenatal epoch. Guys, thank you very much. Please donate. Michaela and my other people who have paid for charge, I'm trying to call. Please call me for your readings that you paid for. I'm waiting. Okay? Please donate www.paypal.me/thepeoplesastrologer or call for a consultation. Miss Layla, Rowan, your chart is ready. Your chart is ready. And PayPal will be issuing you a notice on that. Okay? All right. Thank you guys very much. And we will go now and talk about the cycle of the sun.